Hey there. In our videos so far, we've brought in data from Excel files, and I think we're okay with this now. But now I want to bring in some data from a relational database. And in the earlier videos, we learned that we could get data from within Power Query using the new source button. And we could pull data in from a new location using that. Or if I close and apply and go back to my Power BI, I can also get data from within Power BI using any of these get data options. Now what I'd like to do is actually use the Power Query editor. So I'm going to go back to the Power Query editor by clicking the Transform Data button. To get data from within Power Query, we go to the New Source button. I'm not wanting to get an Excel workbook as we've done this previously. I'm actually wanting to get it from a new source. So I'm going to go More, and I'm going to go for, and the huge list will come up shortly, I'm going to go for Access Database. But notice there's a huge list of things that you can get data from. So using Access Database, I'm going to choose Connect. This then allows me to choose the database I want to connect to, which is the file called Northwind, and I'm going to choose Open. Eventually the Navigator will appear, and I'll be able to choose what I want to bring in. Now, all of these first options sort of like have a two square with a blue top. These are queries or views inside of that database. And then towards the bottom, these are different symbols, and these are tables actually in that database. Now I'm going to start by choosing the orders table because that's what I want to bring in. But I need to also bring in anything that is related to the orders table because it is a relational database. And sometimes we're not sure what all the related tables are or who all the related tables are. So I'm going to choose this button and ask the Navigator to select all the related tables to orders. And so it's chosen customers, employees, order details, and shippers. Excellent. So I can bring all that in, but I also want to bring in products. So I tick that. And I also want to select any related tables, which effectively chooses all the tables in the database. But I also want to bring in a query. So I'm going to bring in this 10 most expensive products, which is a little bit of a summary. I'm going to bring that query in as well. So I'm now choosing 9 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items. Let me just scroll down. Yep, that's it. And I want to bring those all into Power Query. So I go OK. Connections are established, data is brought in, and now I see I have a lot more queries than I did before. I only had 3 before, now I have 12. If you get the option to refresh, maybe do the refresh, but I actually want to save my Power BI file. So I'm going to hit the save option at the top here. There are pending changes in your queries that haven't been applied. Do you want to apply them? Apply them. So that will apply those changes to Power BI, and so your save will save the Power BI screen as well as the Power Query screen. And so I do want to do that. So we've brought in data now from a relational database. Now I also want to bring in data from a text file. So again, I can do this within Power Query, I can do it within Power BI. But within Power Query, I'll go New Source, and I'll simply choose text/CSV. I've got this CSV file called Product Subcategories. So I click the Open button, and this brings up a wee window. The wee window basically shows me the data that is in that file, and it's comma separated, that's the delimiter. I'm simply going to accept it as it is and will transform it later. So I'm going to go OK. And so now I have 13 items in my query window in the order that I brought them in. And I can resize this window on my laptop if I wish. Okay, so we've brought in a CSV file, and we've brought in Excel files, and we've brought in data from a relational database. Now, what if I need a query that just has a couple of options And I don't really want to dive off to Excel and make a CSV file or make a workbook so I can bring it in. If you have a small query that really doesn't undergo any great change, it's quite static, you can, instead of using new source, you can use the enter data button. So I'm going to click this button and a wee window will come up. I'm going to give this table the name volunteers list. So I have a short volunteers list. Now column 1, I'm going to click it. In fact, I'm going to double click it and call it name. And this plus here, I'm going to click to insert a column, and I'm going to double click it and call it phone. Then in this first row, I can enter a name like Kathy Barker, and I can make up a phone number. If I want to add another row, I hit this plus to insert a row, this plus to insert a column. So I hit this plus, and maybe I'm going to enter Sue Jones. And I'll make up a phone number for her as well. So I've actually created a table within Power Query using the Enter Data button. And I'll click OK, and that appears in my list of queries as my 14th query called Volunteers List, and I can see the data here. So we've brought in data from a variety of locations, and it's interesting that you can pretty much bring in anything. You'd be hard pressed to find something that you couldn't bring into Power BI and connect to.